Organizations involved in peace and conflict resolution are urging the African Union, IGAD, and the United Nations to intervene and help bring an end to the war in Sudan. In a panel conversation convened in Nairobi, the organizations also called on the international community to ensure that relief aid reaches those affected by the war. Faith Wangari now reports.
Sudan's vicious civil war is in its second year. The struggle between the army and the powerful paramilitary RFS has left 150 people dead and about 12 million displaced. The United Nations calls it the world's largest humanitarian crisis, affecting mainly women and children. This has drawn the attention of peace and conflict resolution lobby groups who are now calling for a ceasefire.
Women are raped and they are violence, and we saw last night the video that shows the women is just roped in the trees and just punished by or just beating by one of the RSF soldiers because she's just going to look for the food for her children and for her family, and he just beating her and dropped her in the tree. And I think the video in the media, and you can just find this, and it's inhumanity. And I think it's not only because it's women, it's about the dignity and about the humanity.
Can't have a country where 75% of the households are led by women, where the treatment of the women and children, right, is totally below standard. I think that it's an SOS. There's an alarm bell that has been rung, and we as Africans should listen to that alarm bell and respond.
They also want the warring factions to ensure relief aids to get those affected by the war. According to the International Rescue Committee, 24 million people are facing an acute food shortage. To save the situation, the lobby groups are calling for what they call a credible mediation process that will pave the way for a civil-led government, one with full authority to guide the country on a political transition supported by international community and culminating in free and fair elections.
Our intention now is to draw attention and create awareness on the humanitarian situation, because that's really why we gathered. At the second panel, you'll probably hear some ideas, but they're just ideas. But the recommendation really is a cessation of hostility so that there's humanitarian access.
The issue there is not to have two separate governments. No, we are talking about one country, and so far the country is called Sudan. And indeed, we are talking about two main belligerents. But there is a way, we have to find a way to move from that position to something more comprehensive.
Continuing the war with the involvement of militias, extremist militias, is very dangerous for not only for Sudan, but also for the neighboring countries. So this has to stop immediately. There is no time to waste. The African Union has to rise to its responsibility, IGAD and the United Nations.
Sudan, as they say, now stands at a critical crossroads, and the future of its people cannot be determined by the barrel of a gun.
If anyone wants to mediate, they can't just come in and assume the problem is just two generals need to get into the room and talk. We have seen this from, I don't have to name names, they were special envoys to Sudan. One time said like, oh, we don't want to appear with you civilian because Port Sudan is going to be upset. To me, seriously, this is how you think you are going to make peace in Sudan because you don't want to appear with me? This is going to upset Burhan? This is the level of naivete that we're dealing with in terms of mediation. And that's the point.